All right. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're having yourselves a fantastic start to your Friday and you're ready for what should hopefully be a really interesting end to the trading week, right? It's been a really good week we've put together here so far. We've actually experienced a little bit of volatility, right? Which has been nice. And I think we've managed our psychology and our emotions quite well here. Yesterday obviously was a very fantastic trading day, and the I guess like starting point, right, for anything here is to make sure that we're just not bringing any of that emotional baggage or like that taste of victory right into today's trading session. So there's no like desire to force anything, there's no desire to rush, there's no desire to basically overcomplicate things that have been working. I think one thing that is really easy to underestimate when you start making some money trading is basically how your simple things can keep working for a long time and you don't need to change them and complicate them. And once you start getting profitable and you start making a bit of money or you have a really big trading day, there's like this, I don't know, disguised self sabotage, right? That tricks us into making decisions that we're generally not super happy with. And I think that's really important that we kind of acknowledge that, right? We fight back against that a little bit here this AM, and we just focus on the variables we can control. That's how we make money. When we focus on our risk management, we focus on keeping our losers small, and we focus on closing as our P&L is increasing, then we put ourselves in situations where it's easy to be green. And when we complicate things and we try to play exceptions or we skip confirmation or we ignore stop losses or whatever it might be, then things just tend to not go well, right, as traders. So the consistency in P&L comes from consistency in process. I think we've had a very good 2 or 3 week stretch of that here at this point. Like I think last week, right, we didn't have a single losing trade. So this week we're looking to continue to finish on a high note effectively, right, within that context. And we're judging ourselves here based on the quality of our process, not the quality of our outcome. So that's today's obsession, right? I want to make high quality decisions. I want to be really deliberate with how I'm trading. And I'm certainly not interested in just going after like suboptimal price action. The other element here is we've had 3 or 4 days of like pretty nice tradable ranges. We've had a pretty good little bit of PA over the last, I'll say 10 days, 10 trading days. Maybe wouldn't be too surprising to get kind of like a chop consolidation, right? Indecision type day. So let's kind of keep our eyes out for that and just not get complacent on a Friday because it's been a good week. All right. So first things first here, economic calendar. Give it just a quick refresh. Okay, so we got some revised sentiment numbers coming in. We've got some Fed speak here that's already started. We got some more Fed speak here later this afternoon. But all things considered, nothing too crazy. So yeah, let's start mapping things out. So yesterday, right, red candle increasing outlier volume, and then we're gapping up. So it's technically a 2 out of 3 here to the upside, or sorry, to the downside with volume. But the, I guess, like interesting thing to note, right, is basically the pattern of these big red candles. So like the last couple times, right, you had that like explosion of volume. It ends up being kind of a bearish capitulation candle more than it ends up being a bearish reversal, right? Especially when you get ones that are kind of bottom heavy, right? Was talking to someone about this yesterday, but you almost like to visualize candles as an arrow and you want to say which direction is the arrow pointing. If I were looking at this Thursday candle, right, I'd probably argue that that arrow is kind of pointing to the upside. I would definitely argue that the arrow is pointing to the upside here on the 17th. And so certainly seems like that is a pattern that does give me a little bit of some continuation chance. Now, if we also look at the way that that pattern has played out, right, more often than not, you do end up getting an inside bar day with a candle shape that looks very similar to what we have here so far in the pre-market. So we'll see if that ends up being like a period of consolidation for us or anything along those lines. But certainly should be pretty interesting if we can get ourselves a good volume story. So I do have some flexibility to trade this in both directions. I'm arguing that this is capitulation. We'll say possible bearish capitulation. And then we're targeting back up towards those highs. So 67.10 would be the starting point. No, I'm going to go 66.90, 6,700. And then to the downside here, we're looking 66.50. So that hasn't changed compared to yesterday. And then we're targeting moves down towards sort of 6,600. So that would be back under towards the trend line. For a bull case, we'd like to see basically whole market cooperating, right? Okay. NQ, so very, very similar story, right? Probably a little bit more of a least bearish candle than what we saw there on ES. So a maybe easier story, right, of capitulation. I would argue probably a similar type of trend line, right, that we had drawn out there on ES is also in play. Kind of looking like something like that, right? There's your trend line support. So you'd like to see if we can get a continuation story of that. Again, right, we're saying that this is a possible capitulation. And then we're looking for a move up towards 24.8. So that hasn't changed. And then to the downside, 24.5. And then same thing, we would like to see a consistent story across the board, right? So whole market co-op. If we're going to play that reversal here to the upside. Otherwise, right, base expectation here is consolidation or indecision, or, I mean, we'll call that the same thing, or bearish sell-off, right? So our primary bias, we'll say like 55%, right, of the bias is pushing towards a downside continuation move. We're looking for that rejection at those highs to push back down towards yesterday's lows. But if we can't get that story and we see the market cooperating in a different direction, basically a lot of buyers showing up on a Friday, which would not be unexpected, we'd be happy to trade that move to the upside. Okay, CL kind of testing its flag limits there. Rejected yesterday. Now testing it in the pre-market. Green candle, decreasing volume, gap up. So it's a without volume setup here, which sets up nicely, right, for that rejection at the upper end of this trend line. So we are setting up here for a pretty early kind of potential sell-off narrative, pushing down towards, we'll call it 64.50 to the downside. And then to the upside here, we're at 65.38. So we'd be looking at a 66 and then higher. We've got 66, right, as that initial starting point. And then that's 67, that's 68. I think 68 is probably pretty much our finishing line here today. If we're catching a $2 move on CL, I think we're all laughing and having a few margaritas here on a Friday. But let's cross that bridge when we get to it. Still think that this is more of a rejection spot than a breakout spot, at least until I get it proven otherwise. So let's see if that does occur here today. Okay, Apple, 2 out of 3 with volume to the upside. Kind of a stubborn. Apple's been very stubborn here this week, right? As indexes have sold off, it's still maintaining basically the upper end of this range. If markets start to break out and start to pop, Apple seems pretty well poised to be a market leader here in that context. Okay, Tesla, 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume. Microsoft, really big gap up. That gap up's invalidating yesterday's increasing volume. That increasing volume is also pathetic, right? Let's be honest. It's not something you want to be particularly intimidated by. So we're looking I mean, technically, right? We'll call this a very weak 2 out of 3 with vol. So effectively, right, we're opening up at a neutral here with Microsoft. Okay, Amazon 2 out of 3 with down to the downside with volume. Nvidia 3 for 3 to the upside. Not exactly the best candle shape, but looks okay. Maybe here you got a little trend line action going. AMD decreasing volume here. So green candle decreasing volume, gap down. So 1 for 3. Meta red candle increasing, almost outlier volume, gap up. So we'll call that a 2 out of 3 to the downside with volume. Kind of looks more like a Tesla than it does Apple. Right. So like Tesla also had a close that, broke down and held under the previous day's range, which, Meta at least is doing, right? It broke down through that same sort of period. So they're maybe behaving a little bit more in unison than I would have maybe expected. Netflix, we got a really, really low volume profile. That looks like some of the lowest volume of the year. Green candle decreasing volume, gap down. So 1 for 3 here to the upside. Not very impressive. And then Google 3 for 3 to the upside. Not, again, super impressive. Kind of looks like it might want to set up as a bottom up gap fill. Oh, those G's are weird. And then the VIX Rooney 16.49. I mean, yesterday it was so nice when the VIX was like 17. That was really, really fun for us to trade. So hopefully we can kind of get back into that higher volatility realm. But implied range here still is about 1%. So not expecting a massive volatility day. And we've learned from anything here so far this week. Trades have happened quickly. If we're not green right away, we're probably not green at all. And trades have exploded higher, right, with some pretty aggressive enthusiasm. And that means we got to be really aggressive in taking in profit. So today, really all about fighting back against greed, making high quality, high conviction decisions. And hopefully from there, we can really put ourselves in a situation to finish off the week on a high note. Yesterday, like the momentum in the market indicated a reason to keep trading, even though maybe the first couple trades did give us some nice P&L, right? Or we were up nicely. Today, I maybe want to be a little bit pickier in continuing to trade throughout the session. Again, the risk reward basically in giving away a lot of P&L here today of how that's going to make me feel versus making another, really big trading day is probably a little bit more skewed. So I want to be more proactive than reactive here this morning. And hopefully that puts me in a good situation to be happy with how I traded. And I don't have to fester and stress about how I traded on a flight. So that's the objective here today. And hopefully it's pretty smooth. All right, so that's market open. Let's see how the range is. Let's see what that volume is like, and then we can go from there. How's everyone doing this AM? Everyone feeling sharp? Everyone feeling good? Hey, appreciate that, Brian. Thank you very much. Yeah, happy Friday. Well, one sec, guys. Hey, John, if you want the link sent to your email so you can watch on your computer, I mean, if you're in the YouTube, right, you can just take the URL, copy it, and save it to yourself. If you want to get it sent to you daily, just reach out to your DTR advisor. I'm sure they'd be happy to send you the link. So, Mike, if I were to trade CL, it would really depend on how big my stop loss is, right? So, when I'm trading NQ with 3 contracts, I'm only doing that when my stop loss is like 10 points or less. If it's significantly more than that, then I'm sizing down. And it's the same thing here with CL. So, if my risk is about 10 cents, then I can buy 5 contracts. If my risk is like 5 cents, then I can buy 10 contracts. So it really just depends on each individual setup. And yeah, I'll do my best to try to highlight that when things sort of show up. So really, really impressive volume on NQ, right? Possibly a little bit more credit, right, to like the capitulation narrative yesterday being the story, right? Because that's bigger volume than what we saw there yesterday. That's making very impressive size range, right? Gobbling up a lot of that volume. I'd say that's a very impressive open from Bulls. Now let's see if they can sustain this momentum early, right? We're going to struggle to get an increasing volume standard here on this second candle. So realistically, we're probably not looking at a trade here for the next at least 6 minutes or so. Maybe we could find something on the 2 min, but I would be a little bit patient with that. But certainly we want to be now just judging the quality of this breakout. Does it start to stutter? Does it start to hesitate? Right? Generally, the first time a name breaks out or a ticker breaks out, the less resistance it gets, the easier it is for us to get like a long trend day. So that's what we're looking for here, right? Can it basically just fly through all the stops, give us good volume, right? And yeah, establish some sort of momentum for us to trade. So far, so good. But let's see. It's like, I don't know, 2 minutes, right? So we don't overcorrect on this yet. So again, we'll check back on that 2 min in 2 minutes. Yeah, I agree, Sonia. It's really nice for TradingView not to be or for it to have its morning cup of coffee here today, right? Makes a big difference. No, might have jinxed it. Let's go, Logan. Good luck. As a Canadian, I feel quite excluded from the Ryder Cup, but to each their own. Okay, so probably not going to get increasing volume on that second 2 min candle either. Again, that does slow me down just a little bit. Maybe on ES. And that would be setting up a move towards 6,700, right? We're at 6,690 at the moment. I don't know if anyone wants to hear me sing. That generally doesn't go well. Again, not the increasing volume we were hoping for. So we'll wait. Any day now, CL. I didn't like how slow that was. That was weird. Like what I'm that's probably why I got quiet there. So trying to like think of scenarios where this could be the fake out, right? That's the bearish like attempt for bears to reclaim control. That's the fake out. And then it gets up, and holds 700. There's uh certain part of me, right, that if yes or if today's open is stronger significantly than yesterday's open, there's a little bit of stock to be put into that candle. I'm just trying to like think of how to contextualize it. I don't have a active confirmation here yet, so there isn't something that I can trade here. But I'm just trying to think out loud of, is this a reasonable spot where you'd expect that support to hold, or for a fake out to kind of go? I think like a little rejection under 700, fake out under, and then breakout over does give me a tradable opportunity. The question is, can I just see volume that becomes convincing enough? What maybe is like a little bit of a warning sign today here is really, really strong volume at the open and then almost crickets, right? Or much, much lower or slower than one would maybe want. Jesus Christ, Trading View, what are you doing? Again, like, is that the little fake out scenario? Like, I think, yeah, one thing that we've done a very good job of here this week that I really want to keep focusing on is seeing the other side fail first, right? So if I'm playing a breakout, I want to be able to see some evidence of bears failing to the upside, right? If I'm playing a breakdown, I want to see some sort of evidence of bulls failing, because that's allowed us to have much better entry timing here this week, right? Which has protected a lot of mental capital. And it's also kind of made a lot of our trades very quick. And that's really fun, right? When you're green right away and you're up right away, that means you're usually trading your sharpest or kind of where you want to be. So again, continuing to focus on that makes a lot of sense. So far, nothing though. I expected more enthusiasm based off of that opening candle. This is the web browser, Brian. And this is particularly slow today. It's not normally this bad. See, this makes no sense to me, right? If it's an increasing volume candle, why couldn't we make a higher high? That makes no sense. Again, kind of did a fake out through those lows. But this is still stuck under 90. This is still stuck under 7. Kind of now on the 2-min. Looks a little bit like a 700 rejection. 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts up and over and all failed. I'll be watching this to the downside for now, but with some prejudice, right? I'm going to be pretty untrustworthy of this. Excuse me. Okay, so for now, we're looking at the pullback entry technique. Based on where our confirmation candle at high is, I would say it makes sense just to go stop loss at high a day. It's a few extra points. It would be worth it. Now, what I almost expect here, I think I'd probably be looking for a fake out at or above 700, right? Potentially all the way even through the stop loss location. So if it pulls into this blue line here, guys, I'm not going to be clicking submit right away. So I'm going to be watching this, right? As it pulls into this entry zone, be very, very patient. I'm not going to be in a huge rush to just click submit. I kind of expect this thing to fake out above 708 first. Close. Let's see. Okay, there's the potential fake out. Okay, so you're looking at a 713.75, so-called 714 stop loss. Oh, I might have just missed it there. All right, let's see if it comes back. I want a 706 effectively. Tight, tight, tight. If I don't get it right, I'll have another opportunity to trade this on the 5-min or the 3. Again, not a huge rush here. Very close though. I was very close. Did exactly as we expected, which is nice to see. Okay. So be looking at this probably on the 5. So now we'd be looking aggressive entry technique. Stop loss. Targeting 388. You're looking at a 677 as a stop loss location. 677. Again, same thing here though, guys. I'm going to be a little bit patient as we pull into our entry zone here. $16 points a contract, right? So it'd only be a 1 contract play. This is not giving me a very smooth or easy entry here yet. So I'm just not willing to chase this, right? Not willing to chase this. Okay, so watching closely. Okay, there's the possible fake out. You'd be looking at an 86. Ooh, maybe not. Okay, I think pretty good decision not taking that or waiting it out at the very least. Huh. That's a nasty little fake out rejection too. Whoa. I'm impressed. So good job here being 0 for 0 so far. Just avoided kind of some mistakes, I would think, more than anything. And we'll be back looking for our breakout setup here. So I got a few minutes till market data, 13 minutes. Again, the consumer sentiment revision shouldn't be a huge mover, but you never know. Said the same thing yesterday, and we saw a good amount of volatility off of that data. All right, so again, let's watch here. Been a very interesting open. Okay, so we're looking at a 694 stop loss on a long. And let's see if this thing, again, fake out first and then establish again. Too slow, not yet the fake out, too slow. There we go, 689 now. Okay, so I'm watching here. Oh, I might just missed it again. Are you kidding me? Okay, watching closely here, team, watching closely. Like to get under 700 as an entry. I feel like I missed it, so I just don't want to chase it, right, and rush this in. So I would like to buy a discount here, as much of one as possible. Let's see. Okay, I am in 696, 696. Two contracts, stop loss at 689. Beautiful. Even keep going. Probably could have gone 3 contracts on this, but that's fine. Perfect entry. Absolutely perfect entry. Okay, so let's watch how this thing continues to pop and if it can break out. Oh, motherfucker. Well, I got stopped out. Whoa. Huh. Whoa. That was an insane rejection. Holy Jesus. That's exactly why we put stop losses in, right? That trade cost me $220 and it could have been a lot worse. Woo. That was one of the nastiest rejections I've seen in a very, very long time. Holy smokes. Huh. Yeah, that was nuts. Feels a little bit like got hit by a train. Yeah, that was wild. What a rejection. That went from like 715 to 789, 790 in a second. That was wild. I did too, but yeah. It was really tight risk, right? Risk on that was like 7 points, something like that. So it keeps it really tight, right? Yeah, straight up. Yeah, that was one of the wildest rejection fakeouts I've seen in a very, very long time. That was nuts. Nice. It's a good little rep. Hopefully that puts you green on the day or at least break even. Beautiful. So, like all things considered, guys, right? As chaotic as that trade was as a rejection, should still be a pretty small red day here, right? We bought a really deep discount. So being down $220, right, means we're 5, 6 points away from being green. So please, right, do not overcorrect. Do not panic. We're in a very good spot here. Hey, how's it going, Rusty? I don't know if you just saw our trade from 2 minutes ago, but it was one heck of a rejection. What was your entry, Patrick? 696. And your fill price was what on your stop loss? Okay. So you got a fill price 3 points worse than I did on your stop. Good man. Make your money and run, Rusty. Okay, so I might have a chance here on this 2-min time frame again. Like this is the rejection zone. I'd like to find a tight risk reward if I can find it. No, I'm gonna wait. We've got data in 4 minutes. I'm gonna wait. Look, yeah, we've been on the beneficiary of that side more times than not this week. Like 5 or 6 trades have given us that type of move. Today, not so much. It is what it is. That was an insane rejection. I'm gonna have nightmares about that one. Yeah, that was definitely the Matumbo finger wag. Not today. uh yeah. Crazy thing is this is just still setting up, still holding true. What a psychopath. Oh hell yeah, AJ. Well, I mean, we'll be fine here. Yeah, we did a very good job of keeping the loser very small there. We're very easily one trade away. Whoops. Please ignore that. And let's see how things react right to data. We still got 2 minutes. Let's see how things react to this 10 a.m. data, and then we can kind of reset from there. I'm just going to go fill up my cup of coffee, guys. So give me 2 minutes. We'll be back in a second. All right. So, I mean, very much a little fake out there on us, right? So, potentially interested in trying this again. All right. We're still using this same candle as our confirmation. That setup has not failed. So, that's why we're still potentially interested. Question about this, though, is just going to be from a risk management perspective. Can I get an entry that I like, or should I just wait for this to give me an increasing volume? I think it's very likely I'm going to get an increasing volume profile on this upcoming candle. Maybe just use that to reset and see if buy it a little bit of time. Just as is, right? This would be pretty much a one contract max loss trade. And I don't know. I'm not sure if like that's not really giving me the discount that I want, right? Like on that first attempt, at least, the loss was 60% less than my max loss number that I'm willing to take. That's a really comfortable place to be, right? If markets are going to be kind of whipsawing. I'd like to keep that as tight as possible. Again, I'd be willing to trade that on the 2-min if required, and we'd just be targeting a move towards 800. Right, it's been a clear breakout over 7, so 800 is the target. Oh, wild start to the day. Okay, and just wait. Again, would probably prefer to see a little bit of a failure here first, because that doesn't really give me a very good stop loss even. All right, so if I can get it, keep it nice and tight, that would be incredible. Otherwise, here again, right, 722 to 698, you're one contract, but near max risk. It's not great. If we can get down into the low 7s or like mid 7s, that gets a little bit interesting. And then at that point, I'd probably like to see a fake out under 698 and then buy it once it's back up above. Okay. So that's that 698 area we'd be looking at. I still think it's going to be a fake out first. Yep. Okay. See if it does behave like one in the end, or if this just does some bullshit. Looking maybe more bullshit. Not a fake out right now, right? It's actually a rejection. Bearish engulfing candle, bearish engulfing on volume, failed breakout, green to red reversal. Stop loss would be 689 short. Okay, so we can get to within that 80 area. Okay, the 5-min candle just closed as well. That should have been a good signal for me too. I'm going to focus on this on the 5 because that's a stronger opportunity. So we'll go 681 stop loss. And we're looking for a pullback into 73-ish. Oh my God, are you kidding me? Okay, keep watching. Be very, very patient here. Watch the fake out. Okay, guys, I am in 674.50, 674.50 short, 3 contracts, stop loss at 681. Okay, see if we can keep breaking down here. Okay, there it goes, guys. There it goes. That's 1,000. Keep pushing 1500. I'm out. I am out. I am out. I have closed at 648.75. I am taking that quick win and leaving. We will reset this and potentially try it again, right? If it continues to go. But guys, I can't take a 3R win in 30 seconds and not take it, right? We just experienced the opposite of that trade. We're going to get our revenge, right, by locking in a big win there. Again, if this trade is strong, it'll give us a chance to reset and try again. But I do not need to chase. Remember, guys, if the trade is strong, it'll give us another opportunity to enter. We are going to have another chance here. Just be patient. Nice work, Harv. Probably closed it really early, but okay. Nice work, Charles. Congratulations, man. You passed your 2 profits or take profit accounts. Let's go. Congratulations. Nice work, Austin. $1,500. That should put you nicely green on the day, right? You should be thrilled, Charles, man. That's fantastic work. Nice work, Michaela. Good work, Joe. Nice, Mike. 1K on the day. Fantastic. I'm now sitting 1324.89 per account, so not too shabby. Nice work, Speed. Nice work, everybody. All right, let's keep focus here, right? We still got a little bit of action here. So just thought process on this. This will be a trade that'll be worth rewatching for those of you who missed it, right? It's basically once we got close to where the original stop loss location was, and then you saw like price start to skip down 3, 4, 5 points at a time. That became the reason to enter. So in your entry zone, right, what you're looking for is, in that context, elevator down, stairs up. We were getting stairs up into the stop loss area, and within like 2 or 3 points of it, you got the big wall of sellers, the big rejection. And once you saw that and we were still above the reference price, that was the reason to click submit. Kind of makes sense. You guys get what I mean by that? Wow, CL. Holy Jesus. So what I look for, right, is elevator down, stairs up, or stairs down, elevator up, right? So if I'm looking for a trade and I'm watching if it's going to be a fake out or not, right? I can tell if it's going to be a fake out based on how quickly price action is moving towards a stop loss location, right? So let's say that this was my stop loss price, 639, and I see it move up there point by point, right? So it goes on the ticker, I see it go 630 and then 630 50 and then 631 and then 631.50. That's stairs up, right? Like it's taking its long time. If I then see rejections, right, that go 2 or 3 points at a time. So see how we're going from like 615 to 612 or 617, right? Those jumps are bigger or they're faster. That's an indication, right, of strong price action. So when I'm seeing PA pull into my stop loss location, that's what I'm looking for. If I see an elevator up or I see really smooth, quick follow through right into my entry zone, I know that I'm looking for then the fake out entry. if it looks as if it's struggling, it's an old man walking up the stairs, right? It doesn't have its like strength and enthusiasm. And then I see a rejection that looks like the rug getting pulled off of my stop loss location. I'm getting a proof of concept, right? That my stop loss area is correct. And I should be confident, right, that my trade is going to give me follow through. So when we have everything set up and we're inside our, call it, entry zone, that's what we're looking for, right? And when I'm looking to buy the deepest possible discount I can afford or that I can justify, that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to see that price action take smaller and smaller steps forward until I no longer feel as if a step would take it anywhere, right? That's kind of what I'm trying to visualize here in my head. Okay. So far, really nice green trading day. We're kind of similar to what we had there yesterday, where we continue to have pretty good volatility. Does make things interesting. I'm not sure if I have a signal that I can trade at the moment. But yeah, I definitely did close that trade early. I mean, I closed it at. I need to just get this done. Yeah, I closed it at 48.75. 3 minutes or 2 minutes later, it was down at 600. It's a big difference. Yeah, let's see if this thing can give me a breakout here. Now I'm just looking for a textbook breakout setup, right? I don't think we're going to get increasing volume here unless something crazy happens. So no confirmation. 100%, Mike. So that's called slippage, right? That difference. It's not that they're trying to delay fills, but when markets are ripping with crazy enthusiasm, it's basically just super competitive. And so when you close as P&L is increasing, you're selling to someone who is chasing effectively, and you make a premium on that, right? That's effectively the reason you get a more competitive fill than you expect. So that's why we really focus on that, because we can almost get positive slippage in our favor instead of going against us. When we panic close and we're the ones chasing an exit, like to a certain extent, like the rejection fake out here that we dealt with on that first trade, right? There was some slippage on that for some people, right? Because it's a market order when price action is flushing and they just get a bit unlucky to be late in the queue. So shit happens, but yeah, we want to try to make sure that we're taking advantage of that, right? If we're going to be using market orders, they have both pros and cons to them, and just learning how they work will actually make you a lot of money. And I can't really classify this as a breakout setup. This would still have to be like a reversal continuation, which feels a little bit aggressive. Like I would kill for some increasing volume here. Ooh, nope, not didn't hold. So I think I could trade this, but I think it would also be a significant compromise. Hey, nice work, Don. Must be sitting on a nice day here now. And decreasing volume, it's really hard for me to trust that. How's everyone feeling? Everyone feeling okay? Love that, team. Great to hear. Sweaty palms, but smiling. Yeah, I gotta hear that. It's been a fast mover this week. Hey, Mike, love to hear that. Well, happy early birthday. Congratulations. Yeah, so again, done a pretty good job here not chasing this lower yet. Would not be a fantastic decision. Nice work, Jason. That's good. $390 on the day. Can't complain about that. What a life. Every day we have I don't mean this as like any offense to anyone in here, but every day we have like a fast moving P&L day like today where objectively it's really fun to be trading. Uh when it's like over and I have a moment to think, always the first thought that comes in my head is like, oh man, like imagine being an accountant right now or like a data entry analyst or something along those lines. And I just knowing what I know about trading, I don't understand how anyone else would want to do anything but this. And so I'm very grateful that my fork in the road took me in a very different direction. Yeah, but Rusty, you're a freak. So it's kind of not unexpected. Like you're Dexter, right? So got to be a little bit suspicious always. Hey, appreciate that, Sonia. Nice work, John. Congratulations. What's the P&L on the day? Nice work. Congratulations. And Sonia, I'm very excited to see where you're at in a year too. Let's be a little bit patient here. I don't have any active setups. I don't have a look that I can trade or chase. It's a pretty good day. I don't know if I need to do much else, but still think there's a little bit of an expectation. Let's go, Jeanette. $2,500. Let's go. Nice work, Harv. $1,200. Really good job. And I would say that's, you know, the best thing about our trading system, right? Is that we can trade either breakouts or rejections, right? We can play things in both directions and we don't have to be emotionally attached to it. And does give us a little bit more flexibility. Now, when things are, we're kind of in a sweet spot here where things are kind of like extended rangey, right? So there's good volatility. You get like some breakout trades. You get some nice green to red to green reversal type trades. And that's kind of a sweet spot, I think, for the ORB. Like this is where it really, really thrives. I would say it's hard to call any of these moves here, Hunter, capitulation, because I wouldn't say that the volume has been strong enough to indicate that. So generally you want volume to also kind of be like a little bit of a climax, which we haven't, I don't think, seen on the intraday timeframes. Like if we look at this on the daily, we're kind of just hanging out inside bar, right? We're still technically just a day of consolidation, but because we're a little bit elevated on a VIX perspective compared to what we saw for the last like month and a half, we've actually got a little bit of like some follow through, right? Hey, love that, Chris. Great to hear you up nicely on the day, pretty much matching my P&L dollar for dollar. So that's awesome, man. Congratulations. Well, I think Harv, just to say, right, like there's no one strategy that's perfect or best. And what most people get wrong with their trading strategy is they don't get the math around it to be correct, right? So I could take a lot more trades or a lot different entries than I do, but with the risk reward and like basically position sizing rules I have for myself, each trade has expected positive value. So this strategy would theoretically start to break down if my win rate got into like 15 to 20% range. And that's really hard for it to happen. Now, it doesn't mean I can't deal with drawdown. Doesn't mean it can't mean I have like really terrible trading periods where I make a lot of mistakes and make things worse for myself. But from a base starting point, as long as I don't break my rules aggressively, I have an edge. And I just need to be really obsessive over protecting that. Where most people think having an edge is just, oh, I've got a strategy that's good. But your edge is your ability to execute your strategy consistently without putting any, like, without changing the rules when results don't go your way, pretty much. And when your rules are super loose and they're super inconsistent and there isn't that structure, you, yeah, just create a pattern that becomes very unsustainable. Okay. So we're starting to get a little bit more interesting. We finally have that breakout through. I would be viewing this as this is my confirmation. I'm just looking for a breakout from that consolidation. 591 would be the stop loss. That's probably a bit aggressive or a bit far. So it gives you like 15 points. Yeah, I'm going to watch this just on the 5 because the 5-minute's going to set up here in 2 seconds, right? It's got increasing outlier volume, just easier breakout setup, less compromises involved. Okay. Right away, we know we're looking at aggressive. So for 574 stop loss, it's got to pull back 10 points. It might not happen too fast. Oof. Got to pull back 20 points here. That's going to be tough to trust. If it pulls back that much, right? If it pulls back to 64, I'm going to wait for a fake out, right? Because that's such a big move. I think the alternative here is just to go shorter time frames so I can get a tighter risk reward ratio and just be more conservative with the target. So I'd be looking like something like that. Keep the risk tight, right? To be keeping the risk tight. Stop loss would be 555. Short. Okay, going to the 3-min here now. Yeah, we're just trying to get the best risk reward entry we can, right? That's why we're bouncing around so much. Looking at a 536.50 stop loss, so 537. We're looking to pull back into 27 or better, and we're looking for a gentle pullback, right? That one wasn't gentle. And I got a partial fill. So I'm going to close, guys. I got a partial fill. I'm just going to close, not the fill that I expected. I'm going to try that again. I did actually make money on that partial, kind of greasy. All right, watching here again. Hey guys, I am back in 531. Oh, stopped out. All right. Try that again. So stop now. Stop would be 540 potentially here if it's going to be the fake out. Nice work, Kyle. So that trade net cost me about 225 bucks. I made 150 on the first one that I closed early, lost 375 on the stop loss. It did give away a little bit there, but still over $1,000 on the day. This is turning into potential hell of a reversal. On entry, 531. Interesting. Sounds good, Chris. Kind of looks equal move lower, equal move higher, right? Pretty much on the dot, actually, by the looks of it. 78 points versus 76, 77. So that's a little bit interesting. Yeah, I'm sitting at 1099.76. So just under 1100 per account. I have a bit more here. Nice work, Mike. That's really well done. Great cap to the week. Is that green every day? Still pretty good. Nice work. 1900 bucks. How much left to pass? Gotta be close, right? Sunzu, how much? Gotta be really close. Nice. Well, keep working hard. That's really good pace. Really good pace. Confirmation, bearish failure, fake out. Could this be? Could this be? 661 would have to be your stop. Nice work, Speed. Take it and run, man. Take it and run. Go enjoy your life. Can probably galaxy brain my way into this ES one, but I don't really want to do that. kind of yeah, interesting day, right? Call it 1 for 3, technically 4 trades, but one of them partial fill, same idea. But on my 2 combined losses, they're a total of $500. That's pretty good. Like if I'm losing $500 between 2 trades, I'm pretty stoked on that. That's good risk management. That's a good win. And then when I have a winner, right, that's $1,500 or a bit more than 1,500. That very quickly pays for a lot of lessons, right? So again, like I feel like I've said it a lot this week, but my edge in trading isn't really my strategy, like it is, but my biggest edge is my ability to lose small and just creating margin for error for myself with my entries. It makes a huge difference. Okay, so we're looking 2-min reversal here, upside, targeting high a day. Just because it's so far away, doesn't really make a difference. We're looking at a 68 stop loss. Might be missing it, at which point we'd be switching just to the 3. And when things move today, they move so fast. Okay, so watching right away, right? This thing might be really quick. Okay, so 605, again, probably going to be like 602, 600. $24.6. Okay. Hey guys, I am in 604.25, stop loss 600, 3 contracts. 604.25. Stop loss 600. I'm just micromanaging this for a second. Hey guys, I'm out. I am out. Exit price 608. Exit price 608. I'm going to try this again. Felt early on that. I tricked myself. Tricked myself. All right. Let's try this again potentially. Oh, the market is so humbling. All right. Nice work, Joe. Or Joel, sorry, apologies. Nice work. Well done, Austin. Honestly, I just was I panicked on that one a little bit. Or I don't know if panic's the right word. But I closed I don't know. Maybe a little bit too emotionally. It's all right. Win's a win. Win's a win. Try this again if it sets up. Try this again. Not a big deal. Joel, is that back-to-back 2K days, by the way? Let's go, man. Back-to-back. Well done. Nice work, these nuts. That's going to make me laugh every time. Hope you realize. All right, so we're still looking just for a tight risk reward entry here if we can get it. I'll be looking at something like this. Again, we're still working off of this as our confirmation. Let's go, Joel. Incredible. All right, so we're looking at a 621 for now. Pretty good little elevator up. Okay, we need a nice little gentle pullback here now. Gentle, gentle, gentle. Come on. It doesn't look like I'm going to get it. Oh, maybe. Okay, let's watch here. Let's watch here. Trying to buy as deep of a discount as I can possibly get away with. Looking at 2 contracts. Watch the fake out at this point. That's a pretty big pullback happening pretty quickly. So now we want to see elevator up from this point, right? Elevator up. Right now, it's kind of just stairs. Better. All right. So now give me the pull. Be patient here. Let price settle down a little bit bouncy. Hey guys, I am in 634.25. Maybe not the best entry here. 634.25. Oh, the fuck you. What just happened? Stop at 621. 2 contracts. Just got stopped. Any of you did something really weird there. It's annoying. Puts me to 784.66. That was annoying. Let's see how this thing closes next 50 seconds. 747. So I don't want to be too aggressive still here. Okay, 30 seconds to outlier. Nice work, Earl. Yeah, 100%. Go call the day. That's awesome work. Congratulations. Okay, that's increasing outlier volumes. We're going to have a setup here to the downside, targeting our 2R range. Again, would prefer aggressive. So that'd be a 596 stop short. About 597. Call it 598. Okay. Just a fake out. No, not yet. Better. Just call stop loss 600. All right, guys. And I am in short 591.50, 591.50, 3 contracts, stop loss at 6. 591.50 short. Okay, let's see if we can keep flushing here. See if we can keep flushing. There it goes. There's 1,000. Keep flushing, keep flushing. 2K. Keep going, keep going. All right, guys, I'm out. I am out. I have closed this trade at 52.25. All out at 52.25. Let's go. Woo! Hell of a day, team. Hell of a day. How's everyone feeling? All out. Let's go. Huge win. So that puts me at 32, 24, 55 on the day. Let's go. Oh my gosh, Kiki, you're going to be in London same time as me. I'm flying there tomorrow. Oh, fantastic. Where are you staying? Which area? Guys, what a close, by the way. What a close. And yeah, Corinna, maybe just a little bit of bad luck here this week, but glad you're back in the green. That's fantastic. Well, enjoy. I'm going there for a wedding, so it looks like we're there for similar reasons. Nice work, Scott. No, don't say luck. It means you manage your risk well, and you're just getting your feet back under you. Don't hold it, like, don't beat yourself up, right? You had a good process here today. You managed your risk well. You controlled the volatility. You didn't let your emotions force you into bad decisions, and you're walking away green. That is not luck. That's a good thing. Don't discredit skill. Right? It's really easy for our self-talk in trading to have a very negative connotation, but that is not the reality. Let's freaking go, Jeanette. $4,000. Are you kidding? Let's go. Unlucky Shift, send me your executions today. Let's see what we can fix. Yeah. I'm not going to place any further trades here today either, team. We did a great job on that last one. So awesome end to the week. Let's go. Nice work, Audrey. $330 just figuring out is a great place to be. Congratulations. Oh, guys, I don't know. I've said this before, but we're kind of living it right now. You kind of have to survive until you thrive. This is a moment, right, where the market's letting us thrive a little bit, and it is so much fun. Let's go, Dave. Do you think today was a like a clicking moment for you? Guys, and what a close. Honestly, what a close. Within 2 points of the low. That is freaking awesome. Oh, that was fun. I've won green for the week. Love it. Good. Oh, yeah. Oh, I feel really good today, team. I feel really good. Best job in the world. Absolutely best job in the world. 3 for 6 today. That's really good, Austin. And that's the whole point of paper trading, right? You find your cadence, you find your rhythm, you build a little bit of momentum, right? And then you're able to take that to your evaluation. You know, to a certain extent, you've made the mistakes that would have cost you money in a place where it didn't, and that's a really good place to be. Yeah, what a climax to the trading week, guys. That was awesome. Oh, best feeling in the world. Best feeling in the world. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Which trades did you miss, Joe? Hey, nice work, Brent. That's fantastic. Nice thing to go on a weekend into. Well done. Yeah, everyone's green. Any questions, team? How's everyone feeling? Everyone feeling happy with their trading week today? Everyone forgot about Yeah, and it's always about just getting a little bit better each and every single day, right? So just a little bit of improvement, forcing ourselves to just learn one thing, right? Improve one thing, fix one thing. Eventually enough of those days compound, then yeah, kind of Jeanette, like you're saying, you're starting to understand the process better. So really easy, I think, to like overwhelm ourselves with information and to try to be perfect or whatever. But trading is not a game of perfect. Where it's a very imperfect game, and so just starting to practice and to play and to learning how to manage our psychology is really what the focus needs to be. Easier said than done, but that's the whole journey. You guys, we did such a good job managing that last trade. I'm so stoked on that. What a day. Let's go. Yeah, so that would 100% be the move, Shiv, as long as you're still inside the risk reward ratio, right? So as long as you're in between this green line and this red line, and you're risking less than $500, then theoretically your entry is still justifiable, right? Or there's still positive expected value on taking that trade. But just yeah, make sure that you're sizing down, right? So on a trade where we go from, like a 6 or 7 point stop loss, right? We're risking 3 or 4 contracts. If you go 12 points, all of a sudden your risk is going to be 200% more than it should be, right? So, yeah, just really be conscious about that. But that's really the idea here. Anywhere inside this box is theoretically a good entry. I use my reference price as like a reason to create a binary event. If it's above my entry price and the trade goes in my favor, I should have taken it. If it doesn't, then it goes there. So yeah, Austin, if you want to use any of the Google documents or any of these things as your own template, all you got to do here is you go into File, make a copy, and then you can use it as is. If you were to get permissions to use it as is, you'd be able to edit this, which I don't want people doing. So for any of the material that I've posted in the trading docs, if you just go File, make a copy, you can then edit it, make it your own, do whatever you want with it, and then you'd be able to use this blank template without having to delete anything here. Same thing with the trading journal, same thing with all the resources I create. Any other questions here today, team? Oh, feels so good today, though. Feels such a nice end to the week. I don't know if it's better, to be honest with you, Audrey. I think it's all pretty much the same. I would say that, yeah, I don't think that there's like a better or a worse. It's honestly like whatever is easiest for you. So, like I've said it before, if it would be easier for people, for everyone, or for the majority of people to watch on Zoom versus YouTube, we would use Zoom, right? But it, yeah, I don't know. I don't take several entries, right? It's not like I'm clicking at 585 and then at 583 and then at 587. It's just that I'm trading across multiple accounts, right? So I've got multiple prop firms. There's a little bit of slippage between all of the orders. So I'm just telling you what my average price is across all. Only way for me to like fairly reflect it. Yeah, you too, Michaela. Well done this week. The only time where I will add, Chan, is when I do a technique called pyramiding. And then at that point, the language I would use would be average price is now 587 or whatever it is. But that'll only occur once I've had big follow through on my position, and we go from there. So it's pretty rare. I think there was one trade this week where I pyramided in, but everything else I think was just one position. And I say what my average price is when I pyramid because I want my stop loss, my hard stop loss, to be set under that price so that I'm protecting a win, right? Or above that price, right? If I'm bullish, so that I'm protecting a win. Yeah, what a fun day, team. What a fun day. What's the best prop firm? I don't know. I don't think there is a best one. I think they all have their pros. They all have their cons. In my opinion, the only thing that really matters with prop firms is how easy is it to get paid out. Everything else is like a little bit superficial. So from that context, like Top Step, My Funded Futures, Take Profit Trader, Tradeify, they all have really strong track records of being pretty simple in their payout process. And so I would start there. But you also have to build up that tolerance, right, Cap? So as you start to trade more and more with us, as you start to build that confidence, it's okay to close early before everyone else, right? I want you to be selfish with your decisions and to do what is best for you and your account at all times. So the more and more you get confident doing that, the easier it is for then price action to slow down because you have effectively money in the bank, right? Or evidence to suggest that your technique is working. And then you can start to push the boundaries more and more and more. So I think, yeah, you're doing exactly what you should. And as you start focusing on those details, you're naturally going to start to do better and start pushing, right, that close further and further down the line. Hey, nice work, Show Me. $1,700 with an execution mistake is a great day. Congratulations. So I obviously prefer an end of day drawdown versus a trailing drawdown. But for the vast majority of traders, it doesn't really make that much of a difference if your risk management is consistent. I do think it's kind of crappy, though, to get punished for a winning trade. And so I would say that makes it a little bit more challenging to pass an evaluation or to get funded than something that has an end of day drawdown. All right, team, final call for questions here. It's time for some eggs Benny, I think. Nice little capper for the week, so we deserve a little celebration. Just an absolute P&L explosion this week. Been so much fun. Nice, Joe. That sounds great. I'm just a sucker for hollandaise sauce. So anything with that much butter can only be used as a reward, not a consistent lifestyle decision. But if we keep trading like this, I'm going to put on 60 pounds this winter. It'll be worth it. All right, everybody. Well, same deal like always. If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I will do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But I might do a little bit of a celebration here today. I might not be the most reachable human being, so just apologies in advance. I'm going to go do a little bit of a celebratory run. So yeah, just bear with me here, guys. I'm gonna get back to you right away. But have yourselves a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday from probably rainy London, and we'll be back at it again then. Hopefully, compounding on what has been an awesome trading week. If you're green, right, and you made good money and you're payout eligible, pay yourself here today, guys, right? Please make sure that you're locking in some of these profits. Walk away with a nice number. Control the variables you can control and celebrate yourself. If you had a good trading week and you followed all your trading rules and you're happy with how you traded, this also then becomes the reason, right, to celebrate. So get yourself that, nice bottle of wine or take your partner out for dinner. Enjoy the little things in life and remind yourself, right, that all the work that you're doing is worth it, and how rewarding yourself for good process-based decisions is always, right, the better outcomes. The more that we can gamify that, fall in love with that process, the happier we're going to be with our trading. And I would hope that everyone has themselves a really good and relaxing weekend. So same deal like always, team. If you have any questions, hit me up outside of market hours. I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as I can. But looking forward to trading with you guys all again next week, and we'll keep crushing it then. Peace.